It started with a sound nobody heard, a notebook hitting the floor. Lying open on the cold floor, one name was written over and over, Kaito. Kaito reached down without thinking, the loose page catching his gaze.
Wait, this is my name? Line after line. Why would Rin write my name 100 times?
Then a sharp intake of breath behind him, Rin frozen in place.
Give that back. If you breathe a word of this, I'll make your life a nightmare.
She tore the notebook from his hands and vanished down the corridor, leaving behind only the echo of her steps.
What just happened? And why does my name matter so much to her?
That afternoon in class, Kaito couldn't focus. His eyes kept drifting to Rin's desk, replaying her panicked stare.
She's not even glancing at me. It's like the hallway moment never happened, but I can't forget. Rin, about earlier.
I have nothing to say to you. Don't come near me.
That ice mask is back, but I saw it crack. She's hiding something.
She brushed past him, the air turning cold, and retreated behind her desk like a fortress.
Figure it out yourself. I am not your tutor.
She really does freeze everyone out. It's not just me.
Kaito remembered her always sitting alone at lunch, books spread out like armor, no one daring to sit with her.
That notebook. Is it the one place where she writes down things that actually mattered? And my name was there, over and over.
Whispers bloomed in the classroom. Someone had glimpsed Rin snatching the notebook from Kaito in the hallway.
My stomach sank. Now everyone's watching. She'll despise me even more.
Rin's isolation thickened. She seemed to shrink deeper into herself, refusing eye contact with anyone.
This is my fault. I shouldn't have looked. Now the world is pressing on her, and it started with my clumsiness.
At lunch, she sat alone by the window, picking at her food without appetite, a book propped like a shield.
I could walk over. I could say it was nothing. But would that make it better or worse? Number. She told me not to come near. If I break that boundary, she might snap.
When the bell rang, she fled the room, shoulders hunched as if she could hear the whispers even without ears.
I couldn't sleep. That image of her panicked eyes, the torn notebook, it kept replaying in my head. I have to find a way to fix this. But how? If I reach out, she might break.
The next morning, Kaito's heart raced as he opened his locker, and there it was, a neatly folded note, placed where he couldn't miss it.
I knew it. She's still thinking about the notebook. This must be from her.
Hands trembling slightly, he unfolded the paper, the crease sharp and deliberate. Forget what you saw. Don't approach me.
Her handwriting, precise, controlled, but the message laced with panic.
He glanced around the empty locker bank, half expecting to see her shadow slipping away.
She must have come early, before anyone else. She's terrified I'll talk.
Throughout the day, he kept the note in his pocket, its edges pressing against his leg like a constant reminder.
I won't tell anyone, but I can't just forget. This note is a thread, and I am going to follow it. Fine, you want silence, Rin, but I'll find out what you are hiding.
The next morning, Kaito's locker door clicked open, and another note lay inside, the paper trembling under his fingers.
Another one? She's still writing to me. What does this one say? The writing isn't neat this time. It's shaky, almost desperate.
Why did you have to read it?
Guilt punched my chest, but I can't stop now. I need to understand.
That afternoon, Kaito sat in class, a reply note tucked into his sleeve, penned with careful words. I won't tell anyone, but I need to understand. After the final bell, he lingered until the hallways emptied, then slipped the note through the gap of Rin's locker. His heart pounded so loud, he was sure the entire school could hear it.
Now I wait, and hope she doesn't shut me out for good.
A few days passed, and the silence between her notes grew heavier, pressing against his chest each empty morning. You don't understand. It's not what you think.
Every note peels back a layer. She's not angry. She's terrified of being understood.
Later, in the library's farthest corner, he found her hunched over a book, shoulders shaking in silent sobs. She wasn't reading. Tears dripped onto the pages, and she bit her lip to keep quiet.
That image. I've seen someone cry like that before. When?
A memory surfaced, Blurred by months, a rainy afternoon, Rin stranded at the school gate without an umbrella. Kaito had offered her his without a second thought, the two of them walking under it together in silence. She never thanked him. She just stayed close, her eyes fixed on the wet pavement, as if any word might shatter the moment.
I never thought about it again, but maybe she did. Maybe that's why my name is in her notebook.
The umbrella memory sharpened. He could almost feel the rain on his skin again. Rin had stood rigid, her silver hair plastered to her cheeks, eyes downcast as if the world had forgotten her.
I didn't think twice. I just said, "Here, let's share." And she looked at me like I was a ghost.
For those few minutes under the umbrella, she didn't flinch when their shoulders almost touched. Then another image surfaced. A month later, behind the gym, Rin crying alone against the wall. Kaito had spotted her from a distance, but he'd turned away deliberately, giving her the privacy no one else ever did.
I thought I was being considerate, but maybe she saw me leave.
In the memory, as he glanced back, her tear-streaked face lifted slightly. Had she noticed him looking away?
2 times. I was kind to her twice, and she wrote it all down. It's not a love diary. It's a record of the only warmth she's ever known, and I am the only one who appeared twice.
After school, Kaito caught up to Rin at the gate. He couldn't let this wait any longer.
Rin, wait. I remember now. I remember. The umbrella, and the day I pretended not to see you cry.
Her face lost all color, then flushed crimson as if his words had burned her.
That notebook isn't what you think. You are wrong about all of it.
She spun and ran before he could speak, footsteps echoing on the pavement. Kaito stood still, watching her disappear around the corner, the echo of her denial hanging in the air.
I am closer than ever, but she's too scared to admit it yet. I won't push harder. I'll wait. She'll come to me when she's ready.
And he walked home alone, the mystery heavier than before, but his resolve unshaken. The next morning, Rin's desk remained empty, and a cold worry crept into Kaito's chest.
She's not here. After yesterday. Did I push too hard?
A classmate muttered that she'd looked pale and left early the day before.
It's my fault. I cornered her. I shouldn't have been so direct.
After the final bell, he searched the empty library, then climbed the staircase to the rooftop. The heavy door creaked open, and the wind hit him with the scent of an approaching sunset. There she was, Rin, sitting against the railing, notebook open on her lap, pen moving slowly.
She came here to be alone. She's still writing. Maybe she can't stop.
Her head snapped up, violet eyes locking onto his, red-rimmed and full of alarm.
Don't run, please.
She patted the concrete beside her, the gesture fragile but clear, an invitation she had never offered anyone before.
You wanted to know what's inside. Here.
The page wasn't filled with confessions, but with tiny, meticulous entries, each one a date and a single line. Umbrella, the 15th of September, and pretended not to see me cry, the 3rd of October.
It's not a diary. It's a list of every kindness anyone's ever shown me.
Her voice cracked, the words heavy with years of isolation she'd never dared to voice.
Everyone else appears just once, but you.
Twice. She wrote me down twice because I was the only one who saw her twice.
Kaito stared at the page, his name repeated down the margin like a lifeline no one else had thrown.
I am not a crush. I am proof that warmth exists. And she's been starving for it. Rin, why do you keep a list like this?
Her eyes glistened and she lowered her head, as if the question had pried open a wound she'd kept sealed for years.
At home, no one notices me. They yell or ignore. I am a ghost in my own house, so when someone was kind, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it existed.
The words fell like stones into still water, each one revealing a loneliness Kaito had never imagined.
But you were kind twice. Once with an umbrella, once when you pretended not to see me cry.
Those tiny moments I almost forgot to her. They were proof she wasn't invisible.
I built this ice shell so no one could see how empty I felt. It was safer to be hated than forgotten.
Her voice barely rose above the wind, but it carried the echo of a childhood starved of affection.
She's not cold. She's frozen. And maybe I can be the one to help her thaw. Sometimes I feel invisible too, like no one would notice if I just vanished.
Her eyes widened, as if he'd just handed her the only mirror she'd ever looked into.
I want to be kind to you, not because I read your notebook, because you deserve it.
Tears spilled over her cheeks again, but this time she didn't hide them.
Can I be your third kindness? The one that doesn't need writing down, because it'll always be there.
She didn't answer, but she didn't run. Her silence was the loudest hope he'd heard.
Maybe that's enough for now. One moment where she didn't retreat.
They sat in the fading light, the notebook no longer a secret, but a bridge between two frozen worlds.
I'll wait, as long as it takes, for her to believe that someone can stay.
When Kaito set his hand on the open page, Rin's fingers drew back, but only for a second. Then they remained. Later that evening, Kaito checked his locker one last time, a habit born of fragile hope, and there it was. A small, folded note tucked beneath his shoe, the handwriting unmistakable.
Another note? But we just left the rooftop, did she?
Maybe you already are. 3 words that shifted the ground beneath his feet.
She's not rejecting me. She's letting me in.
He folded the note carefully and slipped it into his pocket, as if it were a fragile promise.
I won't push or ask for anything. I'll just be kind without expecting a single thing back.
That night, he lay awake sketching a quiet plan, not grand gestures, but small invisible acts of warmth.
She's counted kindness like it's rare. I'll make it so common she forgets to keep track.
The next morning, before anyone arrived, Kaito set a warm can of coffee on Rin's desk. She found it when she sat down, the can still hot against the cold morning air.
She looked around, but no one met her eyes. A faint blush crept up her cheeks.
Another day, when her pencil rolled off the desk, a spare one appeared in her tray before she could pick up the fallen one. Kaito had placed it there while everyone was busy, a tiny, invisible act.
It's him. No one else would bother.
When she missed a day, he left a photocopy of his notes in her locker. No name, just the pages.
He remembered I was absent. He didn't want me to fall behind.
The whispers started. Classmates noticed the Ice Queen's cheeks warming, her startled glances toward Kaito.
It's working. But I need to be careful. She's not used to being seen.
After the final bell, Rin caught him in the empty hallway, her shoulders tight and her voice strained.
Stop. People are talking. I can't take everyone looking at me like that.
Her words were sharp, but underneath them, Kaito heard the old fear of being exposed.
Then I'll stop. The notes, the coffee, all of it. I never meant to hurt you.
You weren't. I just can't handle being the center of anything.
Then, what if we met away from everyone? Just us, like the rooftop, no performances.
For a long moment, she just stared at him as if testing the idea for hidden traps.
The rooftop. No one goes there. Maybe that would be okay.
So they made a pact in that empty hallway to keep their world small and hidden from the chatter.
I'll protect her from the spotlight, even if it means fading into the background myself.
The rooftop became their sanctuary, where Rin's silence slowly melted into whispers.
My father, he never said, I love you. The house was just anger and cold silence.
Each word fell out of her like broken glass, sharp and long buried.
My mother left when I was small. I grew up thinking warmth was a fairy tale.
That's why the notebook exists. It was her proof that kindness wasn't extinct.
The notebook kept me from going numb. Each tiny kindness was a heartbeat.
You don't have to carry them alone anymore. I am here, and I am not going anywhere.
He didn't offer solutions. He just sat there, a quiet anchor in her storm.
I am glad that notebook brought us here, even if it started with a terrible accident.
Rin's eyes met his, and for the first time, she didn't flinch. A fragile light flickered there.
Write what you remember. Your side of that rainy day.
Kaito took the pen, its weight suddenly immense, and opened to a blank page. He wrote about the rain, her wet hair, and his decision to share his umbrella. When he finished, she took the notebook with trembling fingers. Her eyes traced each word, and a tear slipped free. A tear landed on the fresh ink, blurring the edge of his name.
I don't think I need to count kindnesses anymore. You are not a single entry. You are just here.
He watched her, knowing his name would no longer be a record. It would be a constant. And as the sun set, the notebook lay between them, no longer a list, but a promise of unwritten kindnesses. Spring arrived, bringing with it a small but monumental shift. In the noisy cafeteria, Rin set her tray down across from Kaito. Conversations died, the clatter pausing as curious eyes turned.
Stares prickled my neck, but his smile made it bearable. The pasta isn't terrible today if you overlook the sauce.
I am glad you are here. It's better with you.
She almost smiled, and the sight made him forget the stares completely. For a moment, the cafeteria belonged only to them.
This is terrifying. But when I look at him, the whispers fade into background noise.
Lunch with Kaito, he made me laugh. He added a doodle of an umbrella beside her words, a silent promise, and the notebook. Once a vessel of loneliness, slowly became a chronicle of shared days. Graduation day. The sun was bright, cherry blossoms drifting through the air. When Rin's name was called, she walked with a steady grace. No trace of the trembling girl who once fled from a fallen notebook. Kaito cheered louder than anyone, his voice cracking with pride.
Here, it's full now. Every page.
The last entry, in her careful script, read simply, Kaito, and beneath it, Rin.
2 names. 1 life, no counting needed.
You were counting kindness. Now you are one.
He's right. I don't need this book to know I am not alone anymore.
They stood side by side, the notebook like a retired soldier between them, honored but no longer needed. The Ice Queen was gone. In her place stood a girl who had learned that warmth once given never fades. After the ceremony, they wandered back into the empty school, its corridors silent with memory.
This is where it started. Right here, I dropped the notebook and my world cracked open.
And I almost broke it more. But somehow, it became the best thing that ever happened to me.
They stopped at her locker, where once his notes had waited like quiet footsteps.
I think it belongs here now. Not in my bag, not under my pillow. Here, where I learned to stop counting.
She set it on the metal shelf, the pages ruffling slightly as the door clicked shut.
Goodbye. And thank you.
Kaito's hand found hers, fingers intertwining for just a moment. She didn't pull away. They climbed to the rooftop one last time, the sky wide and full of promise. Then they walked out of the school together, into a future where warmth was no longer rationed. Months later, they sat on a park bench as the evening air grew heavy with the scent of rain.
I can't believe you actually said that to the waiter.
Her laughter was light and unrestrained, a sound she'd once thought she'd forgotten how to make.
I spent so long afraid to trust anyone. Thank you for not giving up on me.
I got to see the real you. That's more than enough.
As if on cue, the first drops began to fall, tapping a soft rhythm on the leaves above. Kaito opened an umbrella and held it over them both, just like the very first time. She didn't flinch. Instead, she leaned into the warmth, her shoulder resting against his.
The first time felt like a miracle. Now it feels like coming home.
And under that familiar rain, Rin realized she was no longer counting kindnesses, she was living them. The rain fell, soft and steady, as if the sky itself was exhaling. Beneath it, 2 silhouettes leaned into each other, no longer needing words, their hands intertwined, a quiet promise that had replaced the worn notebook. And as the rain washed the park clean, it also washed away the last remnants of her old armor. In Kaito's room, the notebook sat on a shelf, surrounded by fragments of his life. It bore the marks of a girl who once counted every kindness, every tiny proof that she existed. Sometimes, Kaito would take it down, just to remind himself of the journey, and sometimes he added a new entry. Today, she smiled at me without fear. That's the greatest kindness. The Ice Queen had melted, and the warmth they found could never be recorded, only lived unwritten forever.